The American people are being deceived, and the people of the world. We're focused right now, and the media is focused right now on these balloons, these hot air balloons that we think they're Chinese, or we're not really sure whose they are. But yet, there's other great crises taking place right now that could cause the World Economic Forum #1 and #2 agenda to roll out. And that is a food crisis and a continuation of higher inflation. Let's talk about that today in DeFi IoT. So you got this, the World Economic Forum just recently finished the 20th of January, made this list of the top 10 crisis areas that they were concerned about the next 2 years and 10 years. And the top two were a continued rise in inflation and a food shortage. Notice something, remember something. Bill Gates forms part of the World Economic Forum, the WEF, a major part of the World Economic Forum. Bill Gates is the single most, from my understanding, the single most landholder, or I should say, he holds the most land, farmland, in America. Why? Why does Bill Gates buy farmland? What's the World Economic Forum want to do with farmland? Well, they want to control the food. Remember what Kissinger had said. You control the food, you control the money, right? Those two. Well, there's a third one there too, right? But we'll go those two right now. Because you control the money, then you control the world, right? You control the food, you control the people. And when you can control the people, then they will do, out of necessity, what they're told to do. We just saw that with the last crisis we just went through of this illness that was floating around. We have a train wreck, a major train wreck. And interesting enough, in Ohio, that this train is loaded with a lot of chemicals, some highly toxic chemicals. And I'll put a link down below so you can look at this yourself and see. And there's a bunch of chemicals on it, but there was some very toxic chemicals that were blown up by local authorities. Now, you're not seeing any place up to this point in the U.S. government talking about this. Very few people are, and very little media is talking about this. But this blew up in a mushroom cloud, and it's floating over, and it's being blown in the winds, and it's dropping in the water systems, to the irrigation systems, and the land and the soil. And this is causing a great concern for many. What happens? The government's coming out and saying that this won't have any long-term effect. Yet, have you seen pictures of some of these vehicles? And it looks as if they're actually pictures of vehicles of the fallout from the rain from this cloud, this that was blown up and went into the air of these chemicals. The water, it's incredible. I saw where they're throwing rocks in the water, and it just pools up like oil. So the water's been contaminated, but the government's saying it's not. You remember 9/11, they also said that the air was fine to breathe, and now you got a lot of people, especially firefighters and policemen, that are coming down with illnesses and cancer and dying young. And they're associating it now to the air was bad, and CDC, what they do, they came out and said, well, we're sorry. Look, conspiracy theories aside, look at this big colluded effort. The World Economic Forum said we're going to have this crisis. Bill Gates, along with others, members of the World Economic Forum, are major landholders of farmland. If they can control the food, then they can control implementing their agenda. And that agenda is the United Nations agenda, but theirs is even broader. And they have the teeth now to do that. They signed with the United Nations like 2 years ago. And they now have the teeth, the World Economic Forum, to implement. Now, they're not elected officials. Can they make us do it? No. That's why they need to control the money, and that's why they're against crypto. That's why they want to see digital rollout, and they need to control the food, right? And then control the resources. If you control the resources, you control the food, you control the money, you have complete control over the people and over nations. And then democracy is out the window. It's all about you have to do it just for survival. You have to obey what they say. Keep that in mind, you guys. And we're in some tough times, and tougher times are going to come. Prepare yourself for that. There's hope out there. There is hope out there. And you're seeing people unite. Even in the United States of America, you're seeing this great division. Hate to see it, but, you know, if that other side is going to maintain that stiff ideology and bite into it, I don't want to be around those kind of people. I just don't. And I just like to be around with people that are like-minded. In other words, I'm not saying you have to agree with me and everything, but let's be marching in the same direction. And that direction is called freedom and free market economy. Anytime you're trying to take that freedom away from anybody else, then you are imposing a type of a tyranny. DeFi IoT, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. We just like to take things and process. I spend hours listening, studying, verifying, and then just kind of regurgitate that out to you in a simplified manner. I'll put the links down below. And yeah, we want to grow this channel finally and kind of taking a different direction than we took last year. We'll see you in our next video.